So how do you do it? In an era that's basically being defined by AI, how do you innovate and move forward without, wrecking the very legacy you spent generations building? It's probably one of the biggest questions leaders are facing today, and we're gonna dive right in. The conversation around AI so often kicks off with this jolt of fear. A quote like this one from Micah Kaufman, it just perfectly captures that anxiety that's buzzing through boardrooms and break rooms all over the world. It feels urgent, it feels personal, and yeah, it feels a little terrifying. And this anxiety, it's just getting cranked up to 11 by this constant stream of dramatic headlines. We're being told to stop hiring humans, that AI employees are the new normal. And all this does is create this really powerful sense of confusion and pressure to act, but nobody's really sure what the right action is. So we have to stop and ask a really critical question. Is all this focus on replacement even the right way to think about this revolution? Or is it maybe leading us all down a pretty dangerous and totally unproductive path? Let's challenge that whole idea. Okay, so our first major shift in perspective is this. We need to stop focusing so much on the workers and start focusing on the work itself. And this is a really fundamental reframe that honestly changes everything. Here's the core idea, and it's a big one. AI isn't coming for entire jobs. It's coming for tasks. The repetitive, the predictable, the boring parts of our day. And by automating those, it actually elevates the work that's left for us humans. It frees us up to be more strategic, way more creative, and to really zero in on the uniquely human skills that machines just can't touch. This slide just lays out the shift perfectly. We have to move from seeing AI as just another tool that we manage to seeing it as a teammate that we collaborate with. We gotta stop trying to impose this rigid governance and instead create flexible guardrails for it to work within. And we need to break down those old hierarchies and create these dynamic learning loops where humans and AI actually get better together. All right, let's move on to our second reframe, and you'll see how this builds. If the work itself is changing, then the way we measure success has to change too, right? The old metrics are becoming dangerously incomplete. This slide's got a pretty fascinating historical parallel. Think about it. When the steam engine showed up, trying to measure its power by just counting how many horses it replaced, well, that didn't make any sense. We needed a completely new metric, horsepower, to even understand this new capability. And guess what? We are at the exact same kind of turning point with AI. So we need a new metric. Let's call it human power. And this isn't about measuring what the machine can do. It's about measuring the human output. It lets you quantify the net change in your workforce's skills, showing you exactly which skills AI is automating away, and most importantly, which awesome new human skills are popping up in their place. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh, a formula, this is gonna get complicated, but it's actually surprisingly simple. You just take the value of the skills being automated and you subtract the value of the new, higher level skills that are being created. The result gives you something called Skill Displacement Units, or SDUs. So for example, say AI automates 100 hours of data entry, but that frees up your team to spend 50 hours on strategic analysis. Okay, you're still in the red. But what if they learn to use that AI to generate insights that lead to 150 hours of high-value client strategy? Boom, you're now skill positive. This simple metric turns all the guesswork about the human side of this into a clear, data-driven strategy. And this brings us to our final and, maybe the most crucial reframe of all. It's all about mindset. Because you can have the best strategy and the best metrics in the world, but you can still get stuck if the culture isn't right. Right now, the way most people talk about AI, it's totally trapped in what's known as the drama triangle. It's a psychological trap that's built on fear, where everyone gets cast in these passive, totally disempowering roles. So you have the villain, that's AI, the big bad threat. Then you have the victim, that's us. We're all obsolete and powerless. And then you have the hero, this kind of naive belief that some new piece of technology is gonna magically swoop in and save us all. The problem? In every one of those roles, nobody has any real agency. It just leads to anxiety and a whole lot of inaction. So what's the alternative? It's to consciously shift from this drama into what's called the empowerment dynamic. This is all about moving from being passive to having agency, the ability to see things clearly, decide wisely, and then act boldly on what really matters. So, how do you actually flip the script? Well, the victim learns to become a self-agent, someone who is capable of making their own choices. The villain, AI, gets reframed as a catalyst, a force for positive change. And that passive hero, they become an active coach, someone who is focused on empowering others to succeed. It's a complete shift from feeling powerless to having agency. Okay, so how do we put all of this together? These three reframes, they give us a really clear and actionable path forward for any leader who's trying to command their legacy in this new era. Look, winning in the age of AI isn't just about making your current business a little bit more efficient. That's a short-term play. Lasting success, that comes from using the profits from your stable, core business, your certainty, to fund your exploration of the uncertain future. You're using today's wins to invest in tomorrow's possibilities. So here is the roadmap. First, you have to make sense of what's happening by adopting new frameworks like human power. Second, you have to build agency inside your organization by actively shifting the culture from that drama to real empowerment. And third, you have to command AI by setting a clear agenda and strategically putting your resources where they need to go, for both today and tomorrow. Ultimately, the paradox of this whole new era isn't about technology replacing us. The greatest drama isn't that AI will somehow rebel, but that we will stop believing in our own power. So the real question isn't about AI's agency, it's about our own. So which role are you going to choose to play? Because in the end, building a legacy that lasts has never been about reacting to what the future throws at you. It's about commanding it. It's about engineering a future where human wisdom and incredible technological power come together to create prosperity for generations to come.